We'll have a quick chat on preparedness. Communication is going to be key, of course. A lot of information, especially from local authorities, is coming through the internet, YouTube, Facebook, social media. So if you're at the house and you've got your computers, okay, the information is coming in, okay. You want to make sure that if you've ordered, for instance, internet, that you're actually able to turn your computer on and it comes on when you need it. Not a situation where you need to call a short-staffed internet provider and wait for 45 minutes for them to tell you that they have the wrong code for your refund, and that's why they couldn't put your internet service on. So you want to make sure that your internet service is up and running. A lot of phones and computers are now combined, so of course your tablets, laptops, wireless. Make sure that if you have one, that those are working. That's usually a little bit easier to do because you've got them with you every day. And of course, cell phones. You may want to have two types of lists going. Your bookmarks lists for the computer, right? And a special phone list if you do have an old-fashioned phone at the house. That's your primary source of outside communication. You may want to devise a phone list that works well with the if you want to call it, coronavirus effort. So folks like poison control, poison emergency centers, anyone like that, tip lines, family doctor, people that you determine are going to be important. You might want to go ahead and have them all on a piece of paper, tacked up on, like, as they say, the refrigerator door, ready to go. Same concept with bookmarks. You're going to have your social media pages where you can get the announcements from your local authorities, from your mayor, your governor, whoever it might be. Have them ready to go so that all you have to do is click on them, as opposed to getting a flood of information which might not be correct from 30 or 40 other sources just looking to get a lot of attention on the internet. Okay, so you want to get good info that of course is correct, viable. Okay, hit the announcements. Okay, and then the bogus info, be able to kind of weed that out. All right, foods to eat. We put 3 major kinds of foods to eat. These are safe side, not trying to have say-so on what people choose for their food. albeit some things are kind of at a rock bottom common sense. We already said that fruits with heavy peels are, in some circumstances, harder to penetrate. With that, so your oranges, your grapefruits, lemons, and so forth, limes, whatever it might be, you might want to take advantage of that. If you're, especially if you're traveling through the market and the fruit is open, where they're in little containers piled up with little bags where people can reach their hands in and pull out. Okay. So different, berries and what have you. Yes, all those are good, but grabbing 4 oranges, if somebody put their hands on them, you can wash it off with some water, okay? And then after you peel that piece of fruit, the inside of it is going to have less of a chance of being in contact with someone that had some kind of germ on their hands than some of the barer fruits that don't have peels. Your leafy vegetables. Okay. Now, although they don't have peels, if you can get leafy vegetables that are safe, okay, once these vegetables get into your body, they do work their wonders by whatever mechanisms they do. I really don't want to get into how it gets done, but essentially the end result is that it detoxifies. Okay, so the root word here is toxin. Okay, these kinds of foods are getting rid of toxins. If this is your body and toxins are getting in the body, your leafy vegetables will help get the toxins out. Okay, probiotics such as yogurts, okay, have certain cultures in them which will help with the same process. Might be different, but again, the end result is you should have a cleaner body if you practice the basics here. And of course, also you want to make sure that you're moderate about it. If it's not something that's your staple diet, you don't want to do something that causes a sudden imbalance to where you're taking too much of something too soon, and that also makes you ill. So if you have a doctor, of course, seek your doctor's advice. Okay. I've thought about talking about medicines in hospitals. People are waiting in long lines to arrive at a medicine, which, if you're smart about the foods that you buy, you might be able to accomplish the same, especially on the preventative level, get the same nutrition by acquiring fresh foods with some guidance as you would, or maybe even better than you would, waiting in line and receiving a manufactured product to enhance the save. Okay, exercises. Okay, now with exercise, I really don't have a personal interest in seeing masses and masses of persons that I am working to be patriotic with, becoming weakened because of the quite frank situation of not being able to go to the gym, not walking to the points of transportation to get to work, not being active, and the sedentary aspects just start to set in, the gaining weight, losing weight in ways that they don't want, they're not feeling normal, so on and so forth. So when you are alone for long periods of time, you kind of want to be cognizant and be mindful of your basic aspects of the body. Okay, your neck, blood flow to the brain, center of the body, okay, legs, cardio. Okay, you may want to do some neck exercises. You may want to do some exercises to keep your stomach strong, as it helps impact the rest of the body. And of course your legs, if you haven't gone jogging in a month, when you're, let's say, used to hitting the treadmill, that may be something to consider within bounds, some kind of leg exercises. And of course cardio. How do you do it all? Well, it may involve ordering some gym equipment. It may involve just going to the backyard and putting up a volleyball net. But intermittently, you want to make sure that you keep the entire portion of your body in some kind of physical movement, so that you don't come down with additional sicknesses as an indirect repercussion of the coronavirus situation. Now, we do have something in here about information trouble areas. Okay, we know that it's very sensitive, and many people are trying as hard as they can to help out others, but still be wary that some information that might be coming through the internet is not 100% viable. We already talked about the list of sites to have in your bookmarks. Okay, so be somewhat selective with that. Not just Joe Blow's website that talks about all the ups and downs of coronavirus, and 90% of it is bogus. Okay, you don't want to have 90% bogus information clouding your mind. Some of the information trouble areas are kind of evident at this point. Pneumonia is a big one. What exactly and how exactly does that mix in with the coronavirus pandemic? Some people talk about it a lot. Some people talk about it barely at all. So getting clarification on major issues like that can result in maybe not peace of mind, but a stronger mind in hindsight that could result in a more peaceful mind. Now, as far as lasers and different kinds of rays being able to obliterate your coronavirus, this is your laser beam, this is your laser, this is your virus, okay, and that beam comes out of that laser to hit a virus. What exactly happens? There are folks that say that coronavirus is purely biological and that's how it spreads and so forth. These things in a laboratory that are dealing with microparticles and high tech that cost millions and millions of dollars. These things take time. So on the one hand, you want to screen your information, and you don't want to have wrong information or screen out right information wrongfully. Alright, so if that's your screen and that's your information coming in, you want to make sure that the right information gets in and wrong information does not get in. Alright, the seafood industry is taking a big lick, so if you're a businessman that sells fish, you're probably hearing things like seafood markets have had some kind of interface with these viruses. However, coronavirus, as it's explained, is that it's affecting mammals and human respiratory. Okay, so how do non-mammals and other spheres get in the mix? Well, we know that it's basically novel coronavirus, so it's new. There are probably many other things which we still don't know yet that are affecting the totality of this pandemic. An area that nobody really likes to talk about, because as soon as you bring it up, it brings up images. However, similar to animals on the side of the road, even though we want to keep our minds thinking positive and having good pictures, every once in a while you need to go ahead and lay out what some of the negatives are, so that we can move out of those negatives and back into the positives. Okay, prolonged isolation can, as a scientifically proven fact, result in facilitating depression in some, and in particular cases it could lead as far as suicide. So if you see something, or you feel something, or whatever the case might be, whatever is appropriate, again, make use of that telephone or your cell phone and make the proper call to the proper authorities. That also, this scenario here, you want to kind of rub this out and move to that scenario over there, and you can do that by doing things at or around the house, if you have to stay in the house, that you might find enjoyable, that are productive, that are going to increase your mind. Reading, puzzles, writing, so on and so forth. Again, a volleyball net in the backyard, exercise equipment, whatever it might be, just to kind of move the time along, so that you don't have negative thoughts crowding your mind. Last thing I'm going to talk about is, for now, for this video, and it's not really in this video, but it's better that we talk about it sooner than later. And let's say things do get back to normal, work schedules get to normal, offices are filled once again, highways are filled with cars, the places to go eat, travel, get entertained, and what have you. Okay, retrogressing to negative habits and ways that started to see some degree of obsolescence. It means that they were faded out as a result of the coronavirus mandates or directives, or whatever you might want to call them, to stay at home. Okay, so if you're at home, many people are at home, the chances that youthful or folks that might be prone to doing a lot of drinking or recreational, illicit substance use, those opportunities kind of started to get scaled down. Okay, so this is 10, this is 1. You're doing less drinking, basically. Okay, things get back to normal, and you get back out there, and you go to drinking on 11s and 12s, and wind up in the hospital hurting yourself or hurting someone else. That's no good. So just we're putting the word in for that now that there's been the opportunity to kind of reflect on overconsumption without sobriety, that this time around when we go back, that we don't let these 11s and 12s take over aspects of society like the coronavirus did. That will essentially conclude this video.